Hello guys, welcome to the Not Original channel. My name is Abner. I've been wanting to make a video like this for a little bit. Let me see if I'm recording. Obviously, this is not, how do I say, a really professional video. It's just a video. I was writing some stuff down. I saw a couple of videos of people doing the best movies of the year list. And I was like, alright, uh, I'm gonna do a list. Yeah, I'm gonna do a list. So some of the movies that I'm going to mention today, I don't have here with me. Some of them I do. I'll be showing you the the copy of the movie and telling you what I like it. We're gonna do best and worst list on the same list. So we're gonna start off with the disappointments of the year, and then we're gonna go ahead and go to the best of the year. So we're gonna start with the bad ones. And the bad ones, I only have here with me. I only have three of them. Three? Yeah. I only have about three of the films that are bad that I want to talk about. And when we start with the good ones, we're gonna do, I guess, an honorable mention. Some of the films that I'm gonna mention that are good, did not come out this year, but I did see them this year, so I'm not gonna spend too much time with them. So let's start off with the bad ones. I guess the most starting off, there's 12 good ones and 12 bad ones. So we're going to start off with the 12 bad ones. We're not going to spend too much time on the bad ones. Number one came out this year, I believe, Unholy. This movie stars Jeffrey Dean Morgan, which I really do love Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I think he's a phenomenal actor. I loved him in The Walking Dead when he first made his appearances. I guess as Negan, you know, I appreciate everything he's done for that show, how he's still sticking to it till this day. I do like his movies, but this one left a lot to be desired. This one was produced by Sam Raimi, and it does have a couple of creepy parts here and there, but all in all, it's really disappointing. The type of movie that it is, the things that it sets out to do. Uh, you know, I would appreciate it if you would have ended the film with like, whoa, like it really happened. There's a film that I compared to this one called The Vatican Tapes. At the end of The Vatican Tapes, it ends how it should. If you want to watch like a good demonic possession movie, go watch The Vatican Tapes. That has a good ending. Continuing off with another horror movie that came out this year. I hate USPS because they ruined my copy. As you can see, it's broken. A Quiet Place Part 2. This movie, it's not that it was bad. So these couple of first ones that I'm going to mention, they're more disappointing than just straight bad. Farther down the list, we're going to get to bad. But it didn't capture what the first one did. It has some spooky parts here and there, but some of the characters make some really stupid decisions. Like the son makes some stupid decisions. I'm really glad that John Krasinski came back to direct, but it doesn't feel like he directed this movie, you know? It feels like somebody else was like, I'm gonna make the movie with or without you. And then he was like, well, I guess I'll have to make it then, because I did the first one. And this is like my baby, so I guess I'll have to do this one too. I hate USPS for what they did to me. This one was just a little bit disappointing. Another movie that did not come out this year that I did see that I'm not going to spend too much time with, Peninsula. I saw this at the beginning of the year. Straight to Busan was an amazing film. I was waiting to see this one. I saw it on digital, and I still bought it because I still think that it's still good. It's still sealed. I haven't even opened this one. See? Because I saw it once, and I was like, I like the director, so I'll buy the film to support him because Train to Busan was so good, but this one was just a disappointment. It came out last year, so I'm not going to spend too much time with it. Moving on, I did buy this one. Well, it was a gift. I didn't buy this one. But I did see it, and it was kind of a disappointment. HBO Max, Day 1, Godzilla vs. Kong. The final fight, I guess, is the best part of the movie. They don't focus too much on the main characters, which is, I guess, good. But, you know, it did leave a lot to be desired. And I do wish that the movie... it was predictable. I knew that Godzilla kind of wins the fight at the end there. But there's no real winner, because at the end they have to team up to fight Mechagodzilla. So it was, I don't know. I just didn't love the movie. Uh, and here we're gonna continue off of the movies that I don't have, that I did not buy, that are disappointments. We're not gonna spend too much time with it. The first one would be uh, Black Widow. Came out, I think, May of this year. Uh, it was just fine, you know. It was just fine. I like Florence Pugh. I think she was the best part of the movie. I liked I forget this actor's name, but he's really cool. He's from Stranger Things. I really liked him, but the movie itself felt out of place. I felt like they made it just because, hey, let's make it. There was no real reason to make it because she was already dead. So I didn't really feel connected to it. Plus, you had to pay $30 extra to watch it on Disney Plus, which was a freaking disappointment. And I just didn't love this movie. Like I said, it was just disappointing. So I'll move on. And then Black Widow, I saw this movie recently. Actually, I think I saw it like 2 days ago. Don't Look Up. I really enjoy Jay McKay's work, or Adam McKay's work. I do like him as a director. I think he has good humor. But this movie is a comedy, a drama, disaster film. And I never really saw myself laughing. I never really laughed at this movie. I like The Big Short, right? I liked Step Brothers. You know, he has a couple of films that you can be like, haha, funny. You know, Vice, I liked Vice, but even with Vice, there were some moments where he tried to go for comedy that I was like, you know, what else has he done? Anchorman movies, I like The Other Guys, he's hilarious. So it can be hit or miss with this guy. Like I said, Big Short is good, Vice is good, Step Brothers is good. The Anchorman movies are good. I haven't seen this one. The Other Guy says funny as hell. I love this movie, but I just didn't see myself laughing at the movie. I understood the message. I understood the comparisons to the government, to the corporations. I got all that to the public, how the public eye sees information, how they process it. I got it. You shoved it down my throat. But I found myself thinking that the funniest part for me of this movie was Jennifer Lawrence's predicament. The entire film, the biggest predicament that she has is that she paid money for something that was free, and she comes back to it a couple times in the movie. She just thinks about it, and I found myself like chuckling, like chuckling a little bit. But I understand what they were trying to do. I get that Leonardo DiCaprio, I guess, should have been really passionate about this movie because this is something that's happening in real life, where he's been talking about global warming for years, it seems. And people are just like, whatever, we'll be fine. It doesn't matter. We don't have to do anything. We'll be dead by the time that something happens to the planet. So I understand the message. I get it. But the movie just wasn't funny to me. It just wasn't funny. And if you're going to tell me that this is a comedy and I didn't laugh, then it's just disappointing. I'm sorry. Okay, let's continue. To Mortal Kombat. The movie was fine. But like I said, these first couple of ones are just disappointing. We're going to go to the bad ones. I think right after this one. Mortal Kombat. Oh, we have one more disappointing one, and then we go to the bad ones. The last four are bad. Mortal Kombat, it had some good fights. The fight with Sub-Zero and Scorpion at the end was cool. But other than that, the beginning of the movie with Scorpion versus Sub-Zero, or Scorpion versus the clan, was cool. But other than that, this felt like a setup movie. It's a setup film. Mortal Kombat never happens, right? And I hate it when movies give you a title like Geostorm, and the Geostorm never happens. They do it all the time. And if you're gonna make a movie about Mortal Kombat and be a setup to Mortal Kombat, don't call the movie Mortal Kombat. Call it something else. Call it Mortal Kombat Presents The Origins or something. But don't call the movie Mortal Kombat and not have Mortal Kombat. Moving on. I'm not gonna stay here too long. To another really disappointing film, Red Notice. This was Netflix's big bang of a movie this year. You know, Gal Gadot, Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne Johnson. Like, this was their big film, and it was really disappointing. You know, I found myself I started to watch it and then I just stopped and then I did it the next day. And if that happens in your movie, it's disappointing. It's boring. It's not funny. Yeah, the chemistry between Dwayne Johnson, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot works. It works, but the movie was predictable from beginning to end. I never believed Dwayne Johnson was a cop. I was like, this dude isn't a cop. He's at the end. He's gonna be like, hey, I'm actually the mastermind behind the whole thing. But at the end, no, it was kind of like that, but he was teamed up with Gal Gadot. It was just disappointing. It's not memorable. I barely remember most of it. I remember the ending of the movie when he teams up with Ryan Reynolds, and when he betrays Ryan Reynolds, and that stupid ass chase scene in the tunnels or the caves with those really old German cars. Like, I get it, but the all in all, the movie was boring, boring, and just not funny. Just Ryan Reynolds' comedy, him speaking really loud and sarcastically, doesn't always work movies. I get it. I love Ryan Reynolds. I love Deadpool. I like almost everything these three people do. But this movie, no, it wasn't. It wasn't it this year. And now we're going to the bad movies of the year. The last four are just bad movies. Just bad. Cruella. I'm not even going to speak too much about this movie. If you're trying to humanize a character that kills dogs, already I'm like, nah, I'm done with it. The original actor who did it for live action did it perfectly. I don't see any picture of the actor here, of the actress here. She was, this one. When she did 101 Dalmatians, perfect for Cruella. Perfect villain. She did her job. You trying to humanize a character that's going to go down the road killing dogs? I'm sorry. I don't give a damn. We're going to move on. The movie was just, it was like Disney's attempt to do a Joker type of movie. And it just didn't work. Just a bad film altogether. Next movie. That was kind of bad, kind of okay, but mostly just freaking bad. Matrix Resurrections. Matrix 4. This freaking movie, like, look, Resident Evil Raccoon City, I missed. I didn't go to theaters to see it, because I'm not going to risk going to theaters, and I never saw Ghostbusters or Clifford or Encanto, so I'm not going to be talking about any of these films. But Matrix 4 Resurrections, man, this movie just felt lifeless. It just felt like nothing more than a cash grab. That's all it was. Like, it really felt like the original director needed her sister to come back with him because this movie didn't have any life. It had an okay story at the beginning. It was really meta. I liked the changes at the beginning a little bit. I enjoyed some of the story beats. Got it. But when he gets out of the Matrix, when the movie starts, half of the movie is we gotta get Neo out of the Matrix, and then the other half is we gotta get Trinity out of the Matrix. That's your movie. And there's a couple of plots, like small plots here and there, and that's it. That's Matrix Resurrections. The action scenes are not memorable. There's always that one action movie each generation that pretty much defines that generation. In the 80s, it was Aliens. In the 90s, it was T2, Terminator 2. In the early 2000s, the Matrix trilogy. Now I feel like movies like John Wick and shows like Daredevil really signify the one hand-to-hand combat and long takes or one shots. So there's always a generational movie when it comes to action. And this movie just felt hollow. It didn't have anything. Like, the first 50 minutes of the movie, there were some interesting theories and things being said. Okay, I was interested, but by the moment that Neo gets out of the Matrix, the film just starts. For me, the first Matrix movie is one of the best movies of all time. I love the original Matrix, 10 out of 10 movie. The second one is like an 8. Third one is like a 7. This one is like a 5, man. And I don't know if they want to continue making more movies, but they shouldn't. Because this one just felt lifeless. This one just felt, hey, Keanu Reeves is really marketable right now. He's making a lot of comebacks with other movies. Bill and Ted, hey, maybe we should make another movie. That's what it felt like. The line that the new Smith says, oh yeah, our parent company Warner Brothers is gonna make the movie with or without that. That's what it felt. It felt like Warner Brothers went to the Wachowskis and was like, we're gonna make a new movie with or without you. Are you coming or not? And they were like, I guess I'll do it. That's what it felt like. So I'm done. Moving on. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I love Tom Hardy, man. I really enjoy Woody Harrelson's movies and performances. I really like the director, Andy Serkis. You know, I really do. I like Naomi Harris. You know, J.K. Simmons makes an appearance. You know, I like the cast. But yeah, Andy Serkis should never be allowed to direct another movie again. The only good part of this movie is the fight between Venom and Carnage at the end. The whole movie is just a shadow of the first one. You know, they did a good first movie. I'll say it's good. I won't say it's great. I'll just say it's good. And then this one, it just feels like a shambles, man. It was in shambles from the beginning. 1 hour and 27-minute film altogether. You know, them trying to rehash the same buddy cop thing that they did on the first one where they were, you know, going together. Venom going to a rave party. Man, I'm not even gonna waste my more time on this. And the worst movie of the year. No frickin' contest. Space Jam: A New Legacy. If anybody tells you any different, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. This movie was just a big ass, just a big ass piece of shit. That's what it was. It literally, like the first movie was okay. Like you could watch it and it has some okay parts to it, and maybe some comedy here and there. But this blob of a movie, trying to make LeBron James an actor, bringing back all these characters, doing all the cameos. The only part of the movie that where I kind of like chuckled was when they made a Michael B. Jordan joke. Oh, Michael Jordan's here, and it was Michael B. Jordan. That was the only moment in the movie that I was like, ha, tighten up, Warner Brothers. I don't know what you're doing with your IPs, but tighten up, okay? We're done with this. And then we have our list of good movies now. Jesus Christ, thank God. We're going to start off with some honorable mentions. I don't have every single movie here. I bought some of them I didn't see. Two movies that I missed this year that I couldn't see. King Richard, missed it, couldn't see it. It was on HBO Max, but I couldn't see it. And Dune. It's a 3-hour movie, so I didn't really have the time. So I just missed it. So I'll just wait for it to come on video and 4K, Blu-ray, whatever, and I'll watch it. I'm gonna quickly go through the best that I think came out this year. Honorable mentions. I got one honorable mention. I don't think this movie came out this year, but I wanted to honorable mention it. Two of them. Three. I got three honorable mentions. 32 Malasana Street. Really good creepy movie. Came out I think 1 or 2 years ago. Shudder original. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. Really good. One of the few movies that I bought on DVD recently. Pig. Another honorable mention. Really good Nicolas Cage performance. Really ridiculous plot, but still a good movie. Old. It was fine. It was fine for what it was. It wasn't like, whoa, amazing, man, like, best movie of all time, but M. Night, right director, he still got it somewhat. Some Old is an honorable mention. I did buy it, so I haven't re-seen it. It's still sealed, like as you can see. And The Father. This movie came out last year, and it's still sealed. I haven't seen it again, but still a good movie. You should go watch it. Anthony Hopkins won the Academy Award for Best Actor. Very good performance. If you ever had anybody in your family that has dealt with, amnesia or Alzheimer's or any of those conditions, you should definitely watch it. And here we go. Clap. Now, you're gonna look at my list now and be like, what? What? That one is your number? Because I have 10. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 movies that are my main list. Number 10 would be, which in some cases, some other people would be like, that's the best movie that came out this year. Spider-Man No Way Home. I really enjoyed this movie. I did love it in parts. I loved what they did with Peter Parker. There's so many things that they didn't explain. So many things that they just, you know, they just, you know, the editing was weird. The spell at the end when they were like, yeah, this guy just doesn't exist anymore. Their friends don't remember even before he was Spider-Man. The guy just doesn't exist. The way that they cheaply did the redemption from Andrew Garfield, it would have been amazing for me if they would have called back to Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield goes to, because I did a whole rant on that scene where conveniently Tom Holland was on top of Zendaya when she fell, even though when the explosion happened, he was on the top of the Statue of Liberty, and they just cut to him being somewhere else, and Andrew Garfield being somewhere else for no reason. I feel like there's a 3-hour cut of this movie, 3.5. Where's the John Watts cut? We need the cut. Release the John Watts Spider-Man No Way Home cut, because I know there's more to this movie. It's in shambles sometimes. And he would have, like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man did. He goes, tries to save Gwen Stacy from falling in the building. He doesn't whip towards her. He uses the debris to catapult himself towards her. And if Andrew Garfield in the moment would have thought of what happened to him and his Gwen Stacy, he would have been, I'm not going to whip her because I did it and she died. So let me use the debris. And it would have been a cool callback to both movies. But they did it in the most cheap and, I guess, fast-paced. Let's just give him the redemption. Yeah, people will know the callback. Just do it. So some of those decisions keep this movie from being, for me, the best Spider-Man movie of all time. It's not the best for me. Still, it's one of the best. Sure, but still, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 1, Into the Spider-Verse, and The Amazing Spider-Man are still, for me, all 4, and then No Way Home would be 5. That's my fucking decision and my fucking opinion. I don't give a fuck what you say. Moving on. You can go out. You can say my list is bullshit at this point because maybe the other of these movies you're gonna be like, you enjoyed these movies more than what No Way Home? Yes, I did. I did. Actually, yes. Well, yes, I did, technically. Number 9, News of the World. Tom Hanks. Great performance, great movie. Kind of remind me of The Last of Us in parts. I'm not going to spend too much time with it. It's still sealed. I only saw it once. I need to wait. It's not sealed? Wait, I did see it again. Oh. Good movie. Go watch it. Number 10. Oh, I'm sorry, number 9. Number 10. Or number 8. Good Guy Ritchie movie came out. Good action flick. They created kind of a John Wick type of world. Wrath of Man. Jason Statham has always been a badass in his movies. Good action, cool characters, great action actually. Cool world that they build, good plot, an interesting original plot. Never seen a movie quite like this one when it comes to like a revenge story. It's a revenge plot, but they did it in an original way. Cool movie. Go watch it. Okay, let me tighten up right here because this is all in shambles. Okay. Let me put this. I don't want to break anything. Put this right here. Thank you. Can I do that? Okay. I think that's number 8. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 movies left. So number 7. Oh God. This is chalk today. Number 7. Movie that had no freaking business being as good as it was. Free Guy. Free Guy was a good movie, man. It was fun. It was entertaining. Ryan Reynolds' comedic timing worked instead of Red Notice. He had an actual decent performance. He had dramatic scenes. He had funny scenes. He had scenes where he needed to be depressed. Scenes where he needed to curse. It was a good movie. It had some crude humor to it. Ryan Reynolds cursing or dropping an F-bomb at some point was really unexpected, but really funny. Shannon Tatum's whole role in the movie was actually really funny, especially when he's like dancing. Cool movie. I really liked it. Really enjoyed it. Go watch it. Number 6, a movie that wasn't very hard to redeem, and we have a legendary director and writer, James Gunn, The Suicide Squad. It's again on HBO Max. You could go watch it if you don't buy it, because I enjoy buying movies on Steelbook that I like. Good movie, man. I don't think I've ever thought that I would see a dick on let me take Spider-Man out of here. I never thought that I would see a dick or a penis in DC ever. But the DCEU is in shambles right now. I don't like what they're doing. DCE. Can I write? Hello? Okay, so I guess my computer is busted. DCEU. So DCEU movies are really they could be really hit or miss. Like the original one that came out, Man of Steel, was really good. Enjoyed it. Then you have a movie like Batman v Superman, which is really great towards me. Suicide Squad was okay. Wonder Woman was good. And then Aquaman was cool. Shazam was cool. But then you have Birds of Prey, where you were like, man, what a disappointment. Wonder Woman was just a bad movie. The Joker was a great movie. Then you have Suicide Squad, and you're like, okay, cool. Then you have Zack Snyder Justice League, like, okay, awesome. Then you have Shazam, and you're like, cool, man. And then it's like a love-hate relationship with these movies. And then Batman's coming out next year, so I that movie's gonna be good. I have faith in that movie. But it's just in shambles. The more they've tried to get away from what Zack Snyder tried to do, the less I like the franchise. I like what Zack Snyder did with Batman v Superman. Man, what is this? I appreciate that original trilogy. And, but I don't know, man. They're doing so many different things now, and I really don't know what they're trying to do. They're trying to recast certain characters. I assume that the Flash movie is going to do. I heard that Michael Keaton is going to be the main Batman in the DCEU outside of Robert Pattinson's movies. So I'm really not as invested as the Marvel franchise, even though I like DC better. Because DC just doesn't know, they don't have it doesn't feel organic like the Marvel franchise. But Suicide Squad was still a great movie. And it did fit well, my opinion, it did fit well with the Snyderverse. And I don't get it. You give a director like James Gunn full creative control, and he makes a good movie, a rated R movie, super violent, super bloody, super gory, super offensive when it comes to language. But with Zack Snyder, you're like, no, let's control everything you do. But it's just, when you think about it, it's kind of disappointing. But anyway, moving on to the next one. I don't need to. Just go back to Google, please. Can you stop this? Thank you. Moving on. Nobody. Nobody was a really cool movie, man. Nobody was a really fun film. Really good action flick. Like I said, the John Wick type of movies that they're making are really cool. The fight scenes were believable. I believe the actor could do what he did. I love the concept. I hope they connected at some point with the John Wick franchise. That they don't have to come together in a film, but I hope they acknowledge, this is the government side of the John Wick movies, while they have the cult and the secret society side in the John Wick films. But nobody was really cool. Really cool. It kind of teetered a little bit at the beginning because, when there's that first action scene in the bus, this guy is really rusty trying to get into the fight. But then, whilst the movie continues, the movie gets better and better. It's comedic. It's action-packed. It shouldn't have been as good as it was, but it is. Go watch it. Nobody. It's a really good movie. Moving on to number 4. I think my favorite Marvel movie of the year, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I really like the steelbook, how they did the whole engraving right there. The steelbook is really basic, but I like the engraving. Shang-Chi was just a fun movie, man. It was just a fun little flick. Not little. This is the best Dragon Ball movie I'll ever watch. No shot. It's literally that last battle between Shang-Chi, his father, and then against the dragon. Literally, it's the best Dragon Ball. Like Man of Steel when it came out and it was Zod versus Superman, they compared it a lot to Dragon Ball. But this is the closest thing to Dragon Ball. You know, the energy, the shooting with the rings, fighting the dragon, the fight scenes, the big fight scenes at the end there. I enjoyed it more than Spider-Man No Way Home. I did. I thought it was better than Spider-Man No Way Home in parts. It didn't feel chopped up. It didn't feel badly edited. I felt like I could breathe. I enjoyed the world. I enjoyed the character of Shang-Chi. I really like Simu Liu, I think his name is. I don't want to... Simu Liu, yeah. And I really like the darkness inside of him. I really love this movie. For me, the best Marvel movie of the year. I think Eternals was okay, so I didn't put it in the... I think Black Widow was definitely more disappointing than Eternals. So I didn't put it in the... Eternals was just an okay movie. Moving on to a fantasy movie that I followed David Lowery as a director. He's made a lot of great films. But The Green Knight left a mark with me, man. This movie is so good. Buy it in 4K. Watch it in 4K. Buy a 4K fucking TV and Blu-ray just for this movie. This movie is so freaking good. Dave Patel is amazing in the flick. It's so fantasy-ish. It's slow. It's heartburning. It builds up. It builds up. If you like fantasy movies like Lord of the Rings or any movie like that, or any movie that, this movie is connected to, I think, King Arthur, I believe. I think his character is like King Arthur's nephew or something like that. Just watch the movie. It's one of the best films of the year. David Lowery did a great job. Go support indie director who's making bigger and bigger films. Just like, I think his name is, let me see, one of my favorite films came out. I want to get his, I think is Robert Eggers. Robert Eggers is an amazing director. Directors like this that make time pieces, time movies, amazing. He's about to make the new Northman movie, which if you haven't seen the trailer, go watch it. It looks fucking fantastic. Moving on to number 2. This movie I saw like a week ago. I didn't know anything about it. I never even saw a trailer for it. It came out on HBO Max and I missed it. And then the story with this movie and how I got it is weird. Malignant. I really haven't seen anybody really talking about this movie and how good it is. I went to YouTube and I searched reviews, and the only person who gave it an actual good review was Chris Stuckman, which I do follow a lot. This movie was great, man. This movie was awesome. I would love to do a separate review for it, but there's some things in the movie where I just chalked it up to my own brain. This movie is great. If you haven't seen it, skip ahead. I'm going to talk about spoilers for a moment. So this movie is amazing. I'm not going to talk about spoilers. I think I should do like a separate review for this film, even if it's just a 5-minute review. Great movie. One of the best of the year. It starts off spooky. You start asking questions. It's a little predictable. It doesn't explain everything. It leaves a lot up to you to figure out yourself. It has good twists and turns. It's spooky. It's dark. It's funny in parts. It's eerie. And surprisingly, there's like an action scene in there that's really fucking amazing. Directed by James Wan, so he knows how to do action. The movie's insane. I love the movie. And I really didn't feel like much people gave it a lot of love this year. But Malignant is one of the best movies that I've ever seen in a long time. It's original. It's an original flick. You could draw comparisons to maybe Harry Potter in a moment when you're watching it. You're like, But other than that, I really thought it was an original film. I really did feel like James Wan he just wanted to make a movie, man. And the story with this movie is kind of creepy. Because my wife was cleaning the car like a week ago. And when she came into the house, I was like, hey, you bought a movie. And I was like, but Lebanon, we missed this one. I knew the director James Wan, and I was like, let's watch it. I was like, I didn't buy this. Like, what do you mean? You didn't buy it? You're the one who buys movies here. It's like, no, I didn't buy it. I just found it under the seat. I was like, I didn't buy this movie. She was like, I didn't buy it either. I was like, what? How is that possible? And I really became really creeped out because it's a horror movie. So I thought it was like a Conjuring type of movie. I thought it was going to be just a spooky demon movie. Because I didn't see any trailers. But then I put it on. I was like, this freaking movie is amazing. Amazing. And I hate the fact that no one really put it in any type of list. But it's in my fucking list. The second best movie of all time this year. A lot of people hated it. A lot of people thought it was bad. A lot of people thought it was just cheesy. I fucking love this movie. Fucking love it. Malignant. You might not like it. It's not a traditional demon, haunted house movie. It's not even that much of a horror film. It's creepy at times. The first half an hour of the movie is creepy. But after that, when the movie kind of goes on, it stops being creepy and it gets more like 90s horror, campy horror. It's a good movie. Watch it. And for me, I don't think this is much of a surprise. I made a review for this movie, like a 20-minute review. I mean, I what can I say that hasn't been said already? Best movie of 2021, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Bought it in Steelbook 4K. I don't know if we're ever gonna get the Snyder Cut, or I'm sorry, the Snyderverse. But at this point in time, like I said, I'm really just getting really uninterested in WB and what they're doing. I could add Army of the Dead to, I guess, honorable mentions, because it actually was a good Netflix film directed by Zack Snyder. I thought it was a really fun movie, good action, good characters, amazing CG. The fact that one of the actors never actually shot the film with the actual other actors, but was added later, is fucking phenomenal. You should check that out. Go check that out, because that's fucking amazing. But Zack Snyder's Justice League is the best movie of the year. 4 hours long. It's almost impossible to have a 4-hour movie and not get bored once. And Zack Snyder pulled it off. Some people could go ahead and say it's too long, or it wasn't that good. It was just fine. I think everybody would say that it's. I don't think that it could be denied that it's better than 2017's Justice League cut. But this is what happens when you let a director have fun and make the movie that he envisioned. I think that WB is in shambles and they're wasting their time because you have a amazing director. I don't think there's any director that could capture CG and action scenes better when it comes to superhero characters like Zack Snyder. He makes the characters in his movie look like gods among men. And that's how it should feel with characters like Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash. He lets each character have his moment, his time to breathe. It feels like the movie, like the actual characters didn't need to have their own solo movie first. One of my biggest critiques of the original Justice League is that you're introducing so many characters in a 2-hour cut of a film. You need to be able to give these characters origin stories. But this movie gives each and every character their 20-30 minute mark. And you feel for all the characters. All the characters make sense. They have good arguments, good plot points, great acting, amazing editing, amazing fight scenes, good CG. And the ending. For Autumn. No fucking mustache in there. No mustache. No mustache in this movie. Fuck's sake, WB. Jesus fucking Christ. You either butcher your past movies, like Space Jam, you make a fucking sequel, or a reboot, or fucking Matrix. Hey, let's just make a fucking sequel. Or you butcher your DCEU, and then you make great movies like King Richard or Dune that I missed. or Malignant, because this is a WB movie. But then your bigger IPs, you fucking throw them away, man. So your smaller IPs, great job. Great job with Malignant, man. Great job with Dune, right? Great job with King Richard. I heard they're amazing movies. Great fucking job, man. But man, WB, Zack Snyder had a vision, and you've constantly just made bad mistakes, and I don't get what you're doing, because the more you try to go away from Zack, the less money you make. Birds of Prey bombed. Shazam 2 made just enough money to go ahead and pass over. Right? You wanted to make Marvel movies, pretty much. Funny movies like Shazam and Birds of Prey. Fucking Suicide Squad didn't make enough money. And Marvel can do it because Spider-Man No Way Home made $1 billion. Shang-Chi made $400 million. Even fucking Black Widow made a little bit of money. So people don't care enough about your movies to go watch them through a pandemic. You know what people did go out to watch in movie theaters after it came out, even though it came out on HBO Max? This movie. What trended on Twitter? This movie. What did people buy on Steelbook and was sold out on Amazon and Best Buy? This movie. A 4 or 5-year-old movie that was re-released as an extended cut. Get your shit together, man. Get your fucking shit together. This became a rant at the end, okay? Fucking Zack Snyder's Justice League, the best movie of the year. I don't care what anybody says. This is my list. And that's it, guys. Thank you for coming to the original channel. If you did, I appreciate you. I'm sorry that this is not the most, the most, best list, I guess. But it's my list, my personal list. And I think 2021 was a good year for movies. It was a horrible year for movies, but a good year altogether. Thank you for coming to our channel. If you did, I'm going to make a list, maybe, of best games of the year, but there weren't many games that I really felt like memorable. Maybe, I think the best games, I guess, were Resident Evil, It Takes Two, and a couple here and there, but most of all, I didn't really feel like games. I didn't feel like this was the year for games. This was more for the year for TV shows and movies, definitely. Maybe next year. I think more exclusives and more bigger content is gonna coming out for next year. Thank you for coming to our original channel. I appreciate you. Later.